Hello. Good morning, beautiful people. This is Kiki coming to you today with love, peace, and happiness and sending it your way. So, decided to take a little road trip. I'm here in Duval County. Duval. Um, Came to check on my daughter, and while I was out, decided to step outside and get some fresh air. Enjoying the beautiful weather today. And of course, talk to you, clear my mind. So, I wanted to say, I'm beginning to understand that people, I'm just learning about different types of people and their personality. And so, yesterday, two students came into my classroom, and I have other students, but these two are the main characters. Um, one African American, one European, Caucasian. So the girl that is African American, she is very loud and outspoken, and she is very feisty. Now, I thought I was feisty, but this girl right here got me beat. And then she sits at the table group, because I have my class organized by groups. She sit at the table with, oh, y'all hear the sound in the background? Like I said, you hear the police and the paramedics. That's Duval sound. But the European boy, he was sitting at the table with her. They don't really see eye to eye. He's like straight, typical European, blonde hair and blue eyes and very, very pale skin. They were disputing, but it was like a low dispute, and I was in the middle of transitioning and trying to get one student a pass or something like that. So I kind of allowed the kids to kind of chit chat for a little bit until I had to pass, till I finished writing the pass for another student, and before I began my lesson. And so all I know is I heard the kids jump up in the back of the room. Oh, he said the N-word. Oh, I'll say in so many ways he said the ninja word. And they pointed at him because at first he was like mumbling under his breath, but because I see, they be thinking I don't really see them, but I know, it's like I know things are going on, but I don't always be so quick to intervene, because I try to get them a chance to calm down the drama and work out, that's called problem solve, because we need to teach our children that we're not going to be around in many situations, and they need to know how to problem solve. But it wasn't like to the point where it was loud and disrespectful. But when the kids, the students that was surrounding the boy jumped up and pointed and said, "Oh, you said the N-word," then the black girl, or the African American girl, she jumped up and said, "Well, you a cracker." And so I was like, "Oh no, we're not going to start that today. Not in my classroom. We're not doing no racial debates. We're not trying to do no civil rights movement type stuff. We ain't doing none of that in my classroom. Not on my time." And so I pulled the kids to the side, and I said, "Look," I said, "I didn't fully hear what you said." That's what I told the European boy. But I said, "In order for you not to get a referral based on assumption, I'm going to have you write an essay," and not even really an essay, probably like 2 paragraphs explaining why it's disrespectful for you to use that type of language or to call someone, your peers or anyone, that type of name. And then and he was like, "But I didn't say it. I didn't say it." But I can tell that he's guilty, because there's other times when I'll be up teaching and then he'll mumble something under his breath, and then the kids will just start laughing, and then they'll be like, "Ooh," but they won't like speak out about it. And so I know that he's known to be, he's known to be very disrespectful, but he knows how to play two sides, and that's kind of where this video is gonna be about. It's about people who demonstrate two sides of themselves, right? But I explained to the other girl, I said, "Hey, you are going to write." Now, she broke down crying. She did not want to write. She said, "He called me the N-word, and I don't feel like it's fair that I got to be punished because I called him a cracker." I said, "Yeah, I'm not going to show favoritism, even though, yes, I am an African-American woman, or an American woman. I'm not going to show favoritism. You either get a referral, or I contact your parents, or we go ahead and try to make peace. So you can, in so many ways, educate yourselves." And so it tells me that next time if you say it again in my classroom, then it's gonna be written up. So I did hear the girl yell out the cracker, but I did not. The boy, he mumbled his. So during dismissal, he goes and tells, I guess, his dad standing in the office looking all like he ready to make a move. He wasn't approachable, but he played that role where, okay, I'm gonna be polite because I see that this is an African American woman, but in the back of my mind, I'm here to just defend my child. And he was like, well, what happened? And so I explained everything. And he was like, no, I don't raise my child like that. We live in the hood. I mean, and the way he was being so dramatic and over exaggerating the whole, I live in the hood. I wouldn't dare. So he didn't even finish. I wouldn't dare say the nigger word, or I wouldn't dare allow my kids. It was more like I didn't teach him that kind of way. And so I was like, well, apparently we have at least 6 students that was standing in the area near him, heard him say it, and instead of me writing him a referral, I was giving him a break and giving him an opportunity to write about what he did. So the father did not like that. He was telling me that I don't think he did it, and I don't feel like he should do it, and you need to just separate both of them. I'm like, okay, okay. I had to compose myself because, mind you, I'm right now at this moment in time standing in the front office in front of my supervisors, and there were other white parents around, so I was basically the only African American woman standing in the office talking to him. And so I said, you know what? In my mind, I said, okay, first off, he's already lying, because I can clearly see the way when you look at this man, he was turning pink red and he was getting very hostile, and I had to de-escalate the situation because I'm like, look, I already know the meaning of the word, and I don't get offended like other African Americans, because I know that it wasn't always a derogatory term, but it was just some Westerners, slave owners that came up with that term. And if you associate and believe that's what you are, then that's when you want to fight somebody. So I didn't even really, to me, I feel like I would be more upset with someone, saying F you, or I really don't. Honestly, I don't even get offended with words because I done heard it so many times. I mean, people say "f me" after I fixed the sandwich when I was working at a restaurant. So I don't really get offended with people calling me names. I grew up around it. I've been called a bitch by my own parent. So it's not that it's not like I don't really look at the disrespect as a problem. It's just the fact that I wanted him to understand that, okay, calm down. Let's look at the whole situation. First off, you ain't gonna tell me how I need to run my classroom. Secondly, I told him I'm just gonna investigate the situation, and we'll get a statement from the students that was around him. That way, we can get clarity and clear it all up. Because the boy need to write anyway. He barely can write good. I told him to write an essay, and what he did, he wrote one paragraph, and then he wrote in giant, large letters, the end. Like one paragraph. Now I'm telling you to write 5 paragraphs. You write one. So he need more practice. But I think I handled that in a cordial way because it was so many things that wanted to come out of me that was, it's like my ancestor spirits wanted me to go off on this man and explain, because I know how they act. It's like what his son is demonstrating is what he learned from his parents behind closed doors. And that's what typically happens. Children demonstrate the learned behavior they pick up from their parents or their environment, and then they are brave enough to speak out about it because they don't really understand the background of the information. They don't understand the side effects of using certain terms and words like that. And like I said, the American language is just a bunch of spells. That's all that is. It's just spells that causes you to feel some type of way. Okay, so when I say spells, I'm gonna do a little sidetrack. We're all guilty of pretty much practicing witchcraft. We're all guilty of it. And when I say witchcraft, I ain't talking about that TV Hollywood version of a woman walking around with all black on and a hat and making the witch laughs and stirring her pot. I ain't talking about like that. I feel like, and this is just my thought, I feel like we are all blessed with a God-given gift. And when I say God-given gift, we have the ability to see in this 3D world clearly. We're able to hear. We're able to recognize vibrations by our feelings and touch. We're able to taste. these are our five senses that's considered our God-given gifts. So how we practice witchcraft using our five senses. Let's look at the music industry. Okay, so we know there's different genres of music. We have gospel, and when you listen to certain songs, it creates an emotional feeling in you. It makes you want to either sometimes make you feel guilty, or it makes you want to cry. It makes you want to jump up and shout. So that is some type of ritual type mechanism that was created for everybody's ears to respond in a certain way. If you listen to hip hop music, some music make you want to get in the car and ride around with a pow pow, and then some music make you want to strip out of your clothes and dance in a sexual way. So music have a certain effect because you got to put certain frequencies together to cause you to act a certain way. Any procedure that you do, like a routine, that is a type of ritual. It goes hand in hand. It's two different words, but it's very similar and it goes hand in hand. Here's another one. When you want to create a special recipe like apple pies or a certain seasoning on certain types of meat, you can smell it, and you're creating a smell to make someone wake up certain sensories in their bodies to want to try out what you cooked. That is another form of a witchcraft type ritual. My daughter, she's really starting to learn more about making perfumes. And I told her when she mixes certain scents together, it causes someone to feel a certain type of way because our senses connect to our brain neurons, and then it causes us to react in a certain way. You can also mix them together and it smells stank as hell. So that is a form of ritual. What's another one? When you are speaking, like myself, my words sometimes trigger anger in others, and sometimes it inspire others to want to go out and make a difference. So that is a certain that's why we say words are spells. That's why we got to learn how to spell in order to really form a sentence and get a reaction or get something completed or whatever set our intentions or manifest something. So like I was saying about this parent that swear up and down that his son is not the type of person that would use the N-bomb word. I feel like whatever is going on behind closed doors, I know that his son is learning it from somewhere. If not the father, he's learning it from somewhere. And what the son is doing is, because I'm at a school where there's a high rate of African American people, his son is basically creating enemies. And so I'm the type of person that I try to be fair, and I don't show favoritism with my kids. I love them all the same, and I get on all. If they all acting a fool, I'm gonna get on their case. But now I gotta be extra protective over this Caucasian boy, because now he done opened a can of worms, and I'm pretty sure one of them kids gonna come after him for saying that. I feel like people always play two different. I'm in the middle of recording. I feel like people always play two different roles in their life. It's either they play, and that's why I said we're full of duality and polarity. They either demonstrate the good side or the bad side. When people are plotting, or they're trying to plan to either get you fired, or they're trying to work against you, or they're trying to, block your blessings or your finances, that is also a form of witchcraft. They're just using their gift in a negative way. They are trying to, based on what they see, they may not like you because you drive a nice car, so they might send an evil eye towards you and wanting you to lose your car. Or if they see you got a nice body, they might send an evil eye and they're being jealous and they want you to lose, gain weight or look out of shape or whatever. These are different forms of witchcraft. So that's why I said, whether you in church, no matter what denomination you are, we are all tapped into witchcraft. And as far as the split personality goes, that's when you portray yourself one way in front of other people, but behind closed doors, you have a different personality, you have a different mindset, and it could be very negative. But guess what? The divine does. No matter how much you try to hide your negativity, it's always prepared. It's like the universe prepares itself for you to be exposed. Why you think all these celebrities are falling behind? No, not falling behind, falling between the cracks of finna face hell. Because in front of their audience, they're performing, Beyonce singing about uplifting you spiritually, but behind closed doors, they're finding out that she's just as a monster as Epstein. You know, Jay-Z, you know, his gift. He could spit a rap game to make you want to do backflips. But at the end of the day, behind closed doors, when the camera's off, he's out there messing with young teenagers, taking advantage of young teenagers. So the thing is, everybody have their good side and their bad side. I think, as we can see, this is a beautiful planet. God gave us a beautiful world with trees and water, with beautiful animals. But when we are being ugly out here in this planet, in this world, it just makes everything look very negative. All have some type of, like I said, split personality, you know, when we go through these mood swings. So to me, I think the term and how the psychologists come up with the meaning of split personality, it need to be kind of looked into more, because I feel like there it's in everybody. You know what I mean? Like somebody can come up and spit a good game and say you fine and you look sexy and I'm all into you, and then next thing you know, they go scrolling through Instagram or Twitter or any type of social media, and then now they spit in the same game as somebody else. You know, so I'm like, you just got to be careful nowadays with the people that you come across, and that's where we have to use discernment. That's when you have to ask the divine to strengthen your power so you'll know how to use your five senses accordingly. Help you see through these smiles. See if that's a real, genuine smile or a fake, I hate you smile. Help you see, help you smell out that bullshit. Help you hear clearly on who's for you, who's gossiping about you, so you can know how to move accordingly. And that's a form of protection. So just know, everybody involved themselves in some form of witchcraft. And just know, there's a split personality in a lot of people. I'm talking about from the higher ups. I'm talking about from the political office. I'm talking about from the church. You know, that's why we got all these pastors getting arrested for being a pedophile or for being cheaters, all the way down to the homeless people that walk around and say, hey, can you give me 50 cents? I'm hungry. And then they go and take that money and spend it on some beer. Lying is almost like a form of split personality. So with that being said, I hope that what I shared with you is an eye-opener. I hope that it can make a difference in your life. And you just continue to love yourself and be mindful. Peace out. Okay, I got my little niece out here with me. But we'll go ahead and conclude this video